So this is my first ever YouTube video, so please be kind. My name is Sam, and I have been on Fort Gordon for a while. I live on post, or on base, or on installation, however you want to call it. Fort Gordon is located in Augusta, Georgia. And on December 25th, 2022, my dog Wiski was lost by the person that was watching her. She is a female German Shepherd, 4 years old, and is microchipped. As you can tell by the picture, she has a permanent left floppy ear, a darker face, and she is a sable color, so black, brown, cream, tan. She is larger. She is definitely not a small girl. And she is afraid of people. So out of the multiple stories that I have gotten, the first one was that the person watching Wiski and her sister Zelda let them out into the backyard. I have a 4-foot chain link fence. I do have mesh that goes around it because of children coming up and taunting my girls, throwing rocks and pine cones and sticks and shooting Nerf gun darts at them. That is one reason why Wiski does not like people and is very wary of them. So within the 5 minutes that this person had let the girls out, Zelda was barking her head off like crazy, and he went to go check, and Wiski was gone. So this person stated they went out the front door. They saw Wiski on the corner of my street in Hill Drive, and she was taking a piss on the corner. He drove up in his truck and tried to get into the truck, but she would not get into the truck. Then she started walking downhill drive in the direction of going south by Gate 5, which is Tobacco Road and Deansbridge Road. Then, he lost sight of her because he went and got into his truck. So on the 26th, my husband and I, we left Illinois from my parents' house, got down to Fort Benning, Columbus, Georgia area, dropped him off, and I drove out here. So about 20 hours worth of driving. So I got here around 8:30 in the morning, and I immediately went out and tried to go find Wiski with Zelda. We checked the woods, we walked the street, we walked behind the houses, we did whatever we could within that first day on the 27th, Zelda and I. I left her scent, I left clothes out, I left food out, I did what I could within that first day. So then later that week, or maybe earlier the next week, no, it's actually later that week, I started making flyers. So then I took flyers over to my old company, and because I wanted to bring awareness. Like, I know these people live off post, so maybe they see her, I don't know. And that is when I got the second story stating to the fact that he tried multiple times to get her into the truck, not just once from the corner. But she was still headed in the direction of Gate 5. So, okay. So with that, I'm continuously looking down that road. I'm looking over in the woods behind Gate 5 Shopette, which is like a little gas station with a convenience store, and the woods back and through there. So not seeing anything. And, by this time, Wiski was plastered all over Facebook. There was flyers that were going out. I was going out and putting them on whatever I could, whatever stores right outside base, at gas stations and stuff like that within a 2-3 mile radius. I had called veterinarians, I had called shelters, went to the shelters, and there was nothing of Wiski. Wiski was not on the side of any of the roads, thankfully. Praise God for that. But within that first week, she was everywhere. We did get notifications on my post saying, hey, might have seen her on this road, Camp Josie Road. Might want to put up some flyers there. Okay, cool. So I drove it around that area, and then there was another post stating to the fact that they had seen her at Gate 5 on the Shopette side, and that it looked like a coyote, but it wasn't her, or it wasn't a coyote because it looked like Wiski because of the floppy ear. I was like, okay, awesome, cool. So she's still in the area. Just keep putting out Zelda's scent, keep calling for her, and everything else like that. Along with all these other posts, I was recommended to go to a Meredith, who is a journalist for WRDW or WDRDW, some station out here. I don't have cable and I don't really watch the news. To contact her to try and cover the story, get Wiski's face out there so that I can get her back. I was told to contact a couple of pet rescues. So they have tracker dogs, and they will help you track your pet down. So those went out. She was filed as a lost pet. My husband put a notification in for her microchip, so whenever her chip gets scanned, he gets notified and we can go pick her up. So nothing, didn't see anything. The following week, we got a couple of more phone calls. There was still no Wiski. And then, got a third story. This is story number 3, because I had gone out at the time that Wiski had left the yard, which was between 8:40 p.m. and 9 p.m. And I took pictures of the corner of the street as to which direction she had gone. So when I messaged him with the pictures, the person watching my dogs, he said that she went off towards the woods. So that's story for number 4. So the first 3, she went off towards Gate 5. The next story, she went into the woods. So obviously at this point, I'm frustrated all hell, because it's like I'm checking all over here, but now you're telling me she's on the other side. Not that I hadn't looked before, because there was a post stating to the fact that there was a dog fight behind the road there. So my road's here, there's another road over here, and then it's the woods. So person living on that road said, hey, yeah, there's a dog fight in the woods, not by my house, but just a little further down. Didn't get anything on camera. So I had gone there. I didn't see anything. There was no blood. There was no tufts of fur. There was no disturbance in the ground or anywhere near any of the houses. So I was like, well, maybe it's just a little further into the woods. So within that, there was nothing else. We did get a possible sighting up at Crawfordville Road, which is off post, just across from Bel Air. It's off of Bel Air Road. And then there was a call on Highland Road, which is by Gordon Highway. But the lady who stated that she saw Wiski between the hours of 7 and 8, she didn't give direction. And by the time that somebody knew about it, it was about noon. So between 7 and noon, with no direction to tell me which way she went, I went out there straight away. I went to look at the area and see where I could post signs. I posted up just about 500, 600 signs out there of flyers of Wiski saying, "Hey, call this number. This is what she looks like. She's lost," and everything else like that. I went into businesses, so they put her picture up in the business or the restaurant. I just continuously driving around the area. I checked all the dumpster areas. I put all of the flyers that I had, on lamp posts, on empty buildings, on the squad cars, the extra squad cars for Richmond County. Just trying to get her face out there to see if anybody had seen her, and unfortunately there was nothing that came of that. So then we got a call stating that she was by Peach Orchard Road and Cadden Road, which is in South Augusta. Peach Orchard Road is a very busy street. It's a major street, and an older gentleman had said that, yeah, I saw her walking down this road, and it was earlier in the day, didn't think anything of it, and by the time he had come back, the animal that he saw was hit and did not make it, and it looked like a shepherd. So I had called the man back after talking to my husband and completely breaking down, trying to get more specifics. And I asked him, were you able to take pictures? I sent you some pictures. Are you able to get them? And he's like, no, I have an older phone, so I can't get pictures. Awesome. Okay, cool. The following week, week 3, there was a possible sighting of her from kids. This was like a Monday or Tuesday, and they stated that she was in the neighborhood that I live in. She was by the park, big green park, but they tried to get her, so she ran away, and they chased her on their bikes. So, okay, which way did she go? And they showed me which way she went. She went back out, because there's only one way in, one way out of the neighborhood. Again, Zelda's scent was put out there. I had been continuously putting out clothes and blankets and towels, refreshing the smell every so often. By this time, Zelda and I had walked all over the woods that are between my neighborhood and the next neighborhood over, all the way up to the Fort Gordon Reservoir, all the way up to Boardman Lake, where the CG lives. So I would say in about 1 week, for 3 weeks, we were walking about 50 miles a day. Just all in the woods, walking around base, calling out her name. Then the next week, we had gotten a call stating that they had seen her on Hill Drive. First one was kids had seen her at Freedom Park elementary school, and I asked them to stay, but they didn't stay. Because I got there was no one there. There's a cop there, but that's it. And she wasn't anywhere near there, and it was maybe like a 10-minute drive from where I was off post. And then I got a call later that week, last week. Hey, I saw her on Hill Drive, which is one of the major roads that's in the neighborhood. It connects with another road. Could not give me a direction. Couldn't give me, hey, yeah, they were going towards this street, or she was going outside, appeared like she was leaving the neighborhood through the main area, or, she's going towards gate 5, or she's going the opposite direction, kind of thing. Now, for all these sightings, no pictures, no videos, just phone calls. So, and of course, obviously, with putting your number out there, people are going to call, and got a couple prank phone calls. One of them from children soliciting child molestation. It was great. I've never heard of suck my dick drive, but I really have now. Um, or, just completely only asking about the reward and never anything about the dog. And when we asked for pictures about the dog, about Wiski, they only showed the flyer that they took a picture of. So, obviously, those did not go anywhere. I did see a deceased animal that had decayed. It was decomposing, and I thought it was her because in about a month that would have made sense as to how long it had decomposed. There was no microchip. There was nothing. An officer came out and said that, yeah, no, I took the report on this. This is not a German Shepherd. This is a pity. I was like, okay. Sounds, I feel bad for the family. I really send out prayers to them because from what I heard is what they knew about it. They just hadn't gone and picked up the dog yet. So, in all this time, I'm still, I'm sending out flyers. I've sent out flyers within a 300-mile radius to veterinarians, rescues, shelters, pet stores to include like Pet Sense, Petco, PetSmart. I sent flyers out to pet groomers, Tractor Supply stores, Waffle Houses, just anywhere that I could think of where I could put her up, kind of thing. Which, by the way, no one can post anything in a Food Lion because it makes it look trashy. That is per corporation, by the way, from what I was told with a store manager. So, at this point, the story was still the same. It's like, okay, cool. So then, I have half of the CSRA, or the Central Savannah regional area, out looking for her. So that's, that's Augusta, that's Aiken, Martinez, Evans, and y'all, if you're watching this, thank you so much. It really helps us get through knowing that I'm not the only one that is going out there looking in the woods or looking at every single picture that is being put up of animals and everything else like that. It's amazing as to what this community has done and is doing for those who have lost their animals, and have been reunited with them. So, one of these individuals has actually been looking for Wiski since the night the night that she went missing. And I fluctuate between missing and lost because before Wiski even got out of the house to go into the backyard, she had it in her head that she was going to leave the house. She felt unsafe. So unsafe that she left a nice warm house where she got food and treats, and she's extremely loved. She left her sister behind that she would never go anywhere without. So yes, she, in her dog brain, she decided to leave the backyard. And then I go to lost because the person that was supposed to watch her in the backyard wasn't. The person that had eyes on her last took his eyes off of her, and she was gone. In the conversation that I had with him, yes, 30-40 minutes let them outside because I didn't want them to feel like, well, they couldn't go to the bathroom or outside, so they would leave a mess in the house. But at the same point, it's kind of like, can you please keep tabs on my dog? my dogs, while they're outside. But moving right along. So this female, she's pregnant, by the way, has been looking for Wiski every single day, every single night since her disappearance. Her husband and her were coming back, and they live on the street on the other side of us, and they had seen the person who's supposed to watch Wiski and Zelda coming down their street. And they asked who he was, because he had seen their dog and thought it was Wiski. He's like, oh, I'm the poor sap that lost a dog. So her and her husband actually helped him look for Wiski on night 1, day 0, night 0, and just hasn't stopped since. And I am forever grateful that, you know, she is going out there and helping and everything else like that. But it's kind of funny because she messaged him, like, I have not told anybody this person's name. Nothing. Believe it or not, no, I have not said this person's name out loud on any of my videos or any of my posts or anything. So she messaged him, and she stated, you know, if you know something, you need to say something. She has basically all of Georgia looking for her dog, for her husband's dog, for his therapy dog. She is an integral part of this family. And, you know, if something happened, just tell the truth. Like, if you try to get her, but then she got hit or she got injured, you know, just tell the truth so that we can go from there and that we're not on a wild goose chase. So then, he tells her the same story, except there's a few changes. So I don't know if he's omitting information or if he's just not sure of the information, because at this point it was him that let the dogs out. It was him that was trying to, you know, let the dogs back in. It was him that waited a couple minutes after, you know, Zelda was barking her head off to let him back in. So then he stated to her, my wife let them back in, and it was only Zelda, so I went out the front door. So, okay. Then he goes back and says that it was him that, you know, he checked the backyard after a couple minutes to let Zelda back in, or Zelda and Wiski, and it was only Zelda. And then she asked him which direction that Wiski had gone, and he said off towards the woods. She's like, okay, but if she went off towards the woods, why were you not in the woods and on my street? And at that point, he had a family emergency, and she was just trying to clarify information, but she wasn't comfortable to talk to him. So, and I told her, if you want him to call you, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to call him, that's perfectly fine. She said, no, I'm good. I have all the information that I need, and I will continue to look for Wiski with you in the woods and in the neighborhood. It's like, awesome. You are an angel. Thank you so much. So, and also at this point, the charities and pet rescues or pet finders that I had reached out to, there's no volunteers in this area, so there was no one to help me put up flyers or posters or help me create them. I did get advice though, and then the pet trackers, we had messaged them, we had emailed them, and they didn't get back to us until 2 weeks later. And by that time, we were told it was too late. But here's also amazing tips. And I had done every single one of them. I put up flyers, I put up posters, I put up like dirty socks because she loves my army socks. I put out clothes that smell like me and Zelda. I put out towels that were freshly used, like hanging up in the backyard, hanging up in the front yard. Unfortunately, when I would hang up stuff in the forests, someone would take them. So that was great. Um, she's posted all over, not in the housing areas, post, because I don't want to get myself or my leadership into trouble for posting a lot closer to post or towards the center of post. It's with, I put out food, but the fat community cats, they ate an entire bowl. I put one can of dog food in there, and a fat cat ate every single bit of it. Every night. And now that cat will not leave, and it's pissing me off. I have left food out in the woods, and the cats go out and eat whatever's out in the woods, believe it or not. So I reached out more on a GSD, or German Shepherd Dog Forum, on Facebook, and said, hey, I keep on getting told that German Shepherds normally stay within the area. They kind of go in a circle, and when they're ready to come back, or when they know that they're safe, that they'll come back. So I got mixed reviews on that, saying that yes, that could be a possibility, just depends on her personality. And then I also got, no, more than likely not. If she doesn't feel safe, she may or may not come back. Well, that's great. We're hoping that she does. Also on the forum, and I am so happy I did this because she is now countrywide. She's also international wide too. A Facebook user from Canada said to put out bacon grease, to spray bacon grease on the trees. So I sprayed them on the tree right in front of the house. I sprayed them into the woods, making one path so that she can find her way back up. Unfortunately, I do not have something that can give her a comfort area, and since the cats eat the food, I can't leave out food. So, I'm continually putting out Zelda's scent. I'm going out there as often as I can. Unfortunately, if you're in the military, you know that our hours are from sunrise to basically sunset. But the hours that I do have, that my leadership says, hey, yeah, we don't need you, bye, I take full advantage of that, and I go into the woods. I walk around the neighborhood. I try to make sure that our scent is out there. But unfortunately, what my husband and I are thinking is that my scent is being linked to the person that was watching her. And that means that she may not come to me or Zelda. So he had been trying to get out here for the past month so that he can help out. He is established in the Columbus, Georgia area, working there, and we have our house there from when we first got together. And then anybody that he asked to do it flaked out, or they ghosted him, so he was not able to get out here. And with getting all the materials that were needed to put up the posters and put up really good flyers, and all the fuel that I was using to go check out these sightings, possible sightings, we weren't able to do the swap. It is a 4-hour drive from Fort Gordon to Columbus, Georgia. So about a 4-hour drive. And so for 2 vehicles, one fuel, you got to fuel up at each destination and then got to fuel up again. So we were hoping that we're able to do the swap out this weekend, because I have a feeling that when she catches his scent, hears his voice, she's going to be like, "Oh, Dad, you're here. This is awesome. Screw Mom and all of her stuff for this past week," kind of thing. But the other things that have come up, and I have somewhat defended this person. No, there has never been an issue before when this person has watched Wiski and Zelda in the past. I understand that he loves animals, him and his wife. That's not a problem. I understand that he was trying to gain her trust, and Zelda's. And that's great and awesome. But at the same point, I have pictures that was sent to me on the 23rd of December. Now, awesome, amazing housing. We got such big houses, and everything else. So it's just kind of getting a layout. So, it's the living room. Comes into the dining room. Sorry for the mess. I was not expecting guests. There's the kitchen. Into a hallway. And there's the front door. And there's the living room. So, when I got the pictures, his wife was sitting right there on the couch. And he was there on the mat. You can see the mat. So, that means that Wiski only had this area in the kitchen to really get away, kind of decompress, if you will. Kind of, not really. So pictures showed that the person taking care of her was on there, and Wiski was trying to come from here. She is hugging that wall. As he's sitting. Hand out, and you can see in her face, I really don't like this. I don't want this. Then he puts 2 hands on her, one on her left side and one on top of her. And her paws are blurry, so it's clear that she's trying to get away, or he might be pulling her towards him. And that is where Rich and I got very concerned when we got the picture. We were actually contemplating coming home after getting that picture, because of the look in her face. She was terrified. She didn't want his touch or anything else like that. So then the 25th, the morning of the 25th, I got more pictures. He's on the person watching her is on the floor, and he's offering one of her favorite treats, which is the marrowbone. I believe it's by Pedigree. And she's looking at it. She wants it, but she doesn't want it from him. So she keeps her distance. So then I have a video of her walking in his direction, but then she turns And his hand is out, and she's like, no, I don't want that. I mean, I've never once said or wouldn't even say anything that this person hurt my dog physically. I have never said that this person has taken my dog. I have never said that this person has, even raised his voice at her. Nothing. But with the fact that no one has seen her, no positive sightings with videos or pictures in over a month, and on base, where there is cameras, where there's everyone on base. I understand nowadays nobody wants to get into anybody's business, but if you see a dog roaming around, you would normally say something. Case in point, I put up a post on one of the Fort Gordon pages. Well, actually, an update, I should say. And a person posted on the update, hey, I saw her 2 weeks ago on this street, which is literally right across from mine. And in my head, I'm like, there's flyers that are up on the telephone poles and the light posts. She's posted on every single page for Fort Gordon spouses, Fort Gordon families, Gordon Terrace. Like, she's on these pages. How can you not know that she is a lost dog? And apparently this maintenance person that took pictures but was never posted, because I looked on every single Facebook page. Two of the females that have been helping me, the one from the night of, who's still looking for her, and another female named Stephanie, who has been fantastic in, keeping me positive about everything, that we're going to find her. We looked on every single page and there was no post. So he says, it's in my messengers, but there's a lot of messages. And it's like, and again, in my head, because I've done this before, when I needed to find certain information in a group chat, I did a search and it popped up what I needed. So I'm saying to my phone in my head, and I'm pretty sure I said it out loud too, just search in your messenger. But still nothing. And I haven't gotten pictures or videos from this person. I have messaged them. I even asked them, which page did you post this on? And I never got a response after that either. And I understand, yes, these individuals do have families and everything else like that. I have been, like, these are my babies. These are my kids. Like, they get spoiled rotten, all of them, including the husband, majority of the time. Like Zelda and Wiski, they get steak, they get chicken, they would get pizza crust, they would get, Wiski loves steamed broccoli, steamed carrots, sweet potatoes. Like, she was spoiled, especially with all the treats and the bones that they would get. And we would go hiking. Like, these dogs have the life. Maybe not the space yet, but they have the life. It's also been coming up that someone has her and doesn't know that she's lost, doesn't know that her family's looking for her, or they just really don't care, and she's a purebred German Shepherd and I want her. And we can understand that. She's a very, very good dog. She's a very good girl, and we love her so much. We've had her and Zelda since they were 8 weeks old. And, the goofiest girls just growing up together. I think the longest time that they had not been together was maybe a month and a half, and that's when I was stationed at Fort Polk, and Wiski was with my husband. So if you do have her, if you have this beautiful puppy, beautiful girl, please call the numbers that are on this flyer. Please call them. If you have her and you just you want to be anonymous about it, please take her to a shelter. Please take her to a vet and say, hey, I found this dog. Can we check for the microchip, which moves, by the way, so that we can get her back to her family, because I have looked every single day, even after work when it's dark. I have looked until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, almost every single night. If it's not midnight or 1 o'clock, I am on Facebook 3 hours at a time, just trying to see if there's any kind of pictures out there or anything of her. And if you're one that doesn't want to give her up, what do you want? I mean, we may not be rich, but what would you need? What would you want for us to have her back? She's priceless to us. She is worth so much to us. We want our Wiski back. We love her so much, and we're not going to stop looking for her until we find her. And I know in this area, a lot of dogs are stolen. A lot of dogs are just taken in, and there is no cause for taking the animals into the shelters or the vets to see if they have a microchip. And in my head, I'm like, she's posted everywhere. Flyers, posters, Facebook pages, TikToks, now YouTube. Businesses keep sharing. They keep posting her up on everything. The kennels that are not even in this area or even in this state have pictures of her. Like, I've gone as far as going all the way out to the coast of South Carolina, all the way up to North Carolina. I've reached out to places in Tennessee and Florida. It's just, we want her back so bad. And the fact that she hasn't been positively identified, positively seen is killing us. Because she's not on any sides of the roads, which is a good thing. But she's not in any of the shelters. She's not, no one's taking her into the vets. A rescue hasn't even seen her. It's just, again, like, we want her home. We need her home. And if you do have her, please give her back. Please give her back. If you know someone that has her, anonymously tell us. That's perfectly fine. No questions asked. We want her back. There is a reward. We're not going to say what it is, because we would hope that it would be more important to get her back to her family, that we've had her since she was 8 weeks old, her and her sister. I just don't know. I don't know what else to say. I'm begging and pleading for anybody that watches this to please keep a lookout. If you see her, or it can be another shepherd that looks like her. I love seeing dogs. I love seeing pictures of dogs, and I love trying to find their families as well if it's not her. Please just let us know. Again, like, call the numbers if you see her, because it's been too long since she's been back. I haven't seen her since I left to go on leave. I have, yeah. So, hopefully YouTube can help out a lot, the viewers and everything else. After this, I don't know what to do besides give updates to see if we found her or not. Again, her name is Wiski. She's a German Shepherd with a left floppy ear, permanent, lost in Augusta, Georgia, off of Fort Gordon, in around Tobacco Road and Deansbridge Road. Has not been positively identified or positively seen since Christmas Day of last year. Just please let us know. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.